What is up, Rainmakers and OMI homies? Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, D Money, tonight, filling in for Jay Rain. Jay's traveling, and you know what? This is just going to be a chat with me and Doctor Stuff again tonight, which I'm super looking forward to. Before we get into the VeVe chat that we love every Wednesday evening, I want to just spell out nothing on this channel, including what you hear from me tonight, what you hear from Doctor Stuff, is financial advice. Both of us are heavily invested in OMI and in VeVe Collectibles, just so everybody is aware of that. So let's, I think without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome our guest, our resident VeVe expert, Doctor Stuff. Doc, what is going on tonight, man?
What's up, D Money?
Good to see you.
Good to
Oh
see
man,
you,
I
man.
I've been like so busy today, and it's been driving me crazy because I have not had a chance to watch that AMA that dropped earlier today at like what was it, like 1 o'clock or something like that. And it's been like I've had my YouTube like kind of open, and I've even like I've wanted to even just like listen to it, but I'm like, no, like I like to watch it. And anyway, so I'm really excited to talk about that because I have no idea whatsoever what went down today. So I don't see any reason to go anywhere else but right there, because from what I understand, I mean, you told me that there's some pretty awesome news. So I'm gonna let you kind of take it, but like just give us a rundown of what happened with the AMA today.
Yeah, so first and foremost, before we do that, right? Like everyone, like we all knew Q2 priorities, right? Were web app, KYC, MTL.
MTL, yep.
And I feel like in the last week or so, we kind of got some hedging in tweets from like Alex, like, hey, they're priorities, they're not deadlines. And I was and like I
Mm,
even tweeted out and I was like, look, I don't think that MTL that we're gonna have a full rollout of MTL by the end of the month. I was like, there's just no way.
right.
We don't even have everyone in the web app right now. So with that preface, I was really excited to kind of hear like, and most of the VeVe community was as well, right? Like what's happening with these timelines, these priorities. So yeah, let's kind of get into it, right? First thing, Dan Crothers, he touched on the fact that some of these drops aren't selling out. And he said that VeVe was like not necessarily designed, like that wasn't their aim, is to sell out every drop all the time really quickly, right? But here's one of the weird things that happens when you don't sell out, and we're seeing this is you'll have a retail price, let's say a collectible is $60, right, on the drop, or 60 gems. But then it doesn't sell out. Well, if people don't get what they want, maybe they want a low mint number, or like it's a blind box and they wanted a different rarity and they don't get it, right? Like they pretty much have to sell it below, unless it's like the secret rare or something, but they have to sell it below retail, right? Because especially if it's like a specific rarity, like so not a blind box, right? I want to go for this rare and it's $60, like the Harley Quinns, and then
Right.
I buy that, but then I can't list it above it unless it's like a low mint. I can't list it above retail because people will just buy the
Buy
retail.
at retail, right?
Yeah, so and we're seeing that a little bit. So it'll be interesting going forward until we get more users back into the app. If we're not selling out drops, that's the risk. Is people are going to be like, well, why would I go for the drop when I can just get it for below retail if I really want it, and maybe I don't care about the mint number. So
Right.
that was really interesting. But he did say, along with that, is that they have toyed with the idea, and they did it with the Captain America, where they can burn collectibles, right?
Sure.
So at some point, if it's not selling out within a certain time frame, like they could just say, all right, well, we're going to burn the rest of these, and move on to other drops and things. So really interesting there. Um,
Yeah, and it would be interesting to know, like, I mean, with that idea of them kind of not having it in mind that the drops would sell out every single time. Like, I wonder like how much of it was a surprise to them in some ways, right? Like I'm sure that they thought like major stuff would, but like what we went through, 6 and 8 months ago, where it was just like no matter what it was, like it was gone.
yeah.
And yeah, like it makes you wonder if they were like, dude, this is insane. Like, I can't believe these cornos. Sorry to throw your cornos under the bus, Doc. I know you've got a special place in your heart for them, but like, but yeah, like,
I like the Mermacornos.
they're just like, dude, I cannot believe that these are selling out or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and amazing, right? So yeah. So what else?
Okay, so they are going to be at the San Diego and New York Comic Cons, which is big, and they it's kind of funny. David Yu was about to spill the beans on something, a big partnership that they had, and Alex was like cut him off. It's pretty funny. You can see David just wanted to say something, and Alex cut him off. And we like, I guarantee everyone watching was like,
No, I know that's so
yeah,
frustrating. He did that with like, yeah, something like back in March. I remember
yeah.
Alex was like, yeah, I mean, I guess one of one, yeah, or something like we're gonna do one of ones, but like he could tell he was like, we were not supposed to talk about that, David. That's so
Yeah,
funny.
so that's funny. But here's the good thing, right? They're going to these Comic Cons. That's more exposure to VeVe and the collectibles. So that'll be great to see. All right. So now into the Q2 priorities, right? With the web app, he said that they had about 15,000 users on the platform right now. They're going to do another update within the week to the app that surrounds like some legal compliance that they need to do. And then they are opening up the web app to everyone. So within a week, everyone will have access to the web app. So I was like, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Then he talked about KYC and basically said like the KYC process can be about 5 minutes. You're going to show upload a picture of your passport, your ID, supply your address so that they can verify you're a real person, normal stuff like that.
Standard stuff, yeah.
So then what he said is, so the KYC is going to the production environment this week. And what that means is basically where like they will have internal team testing it. And then they're going to switch KYC on for particular users. And it's going to be a small group, but here's the really interesting thing. So once they turn KYC on for this small group of users, whoever it is, and I don't know if it's random or if there's certain people that they've picked, but once they turn the KYC on, you can't do anything except for view your collectibles or play with them until you KYC. So that means you won't be able to sell on the market, buy on the market, participate in auctions, anything related to that, right?
Wow. Okay.
And that is what has caused what I've coined as what did I say? I was like, today will be known in VeVe history, right, as the day of the great bot sell-off, because bots just realized, oh my gosh, my accounts could randomly be put into this KYC, and I can't KYC this account, so I've got to get all my collectibles off to get gems, so that I can try to sell those gems on off app and peace out before that happens. And so we're seeing. And I'm just scrolling through right on the market, and you're just seeing like bots, but they're flooring low mints like at floor. I mean, like crazy stuff. So I'm like refreshing. I'm like, I gotta buy that. Like, it's been crazy. So, but KYC is gonna like happen for a select group. So he said, here's the timeline. Sometime next week, they're gonna bring on the first users, 1,000 to 2,000. And then if you get that invite, you're going to have to KYC before you participate in anything. As soon as they're comfortable with that beta testers, they're going to open it up to everyone else. And he says it is anticipated to be fully rolled out by the end of this quarter, as long as there's no major issues, right? So everyone's going to be KYC'd in 15 days.
15 days. Wow.
15
Okay.
days, right? Unless there's some major hiccup with the KYC process, which they don't anticipate.
Right.
So that's huge, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So then we're seeing Gesture Runes. When is MTL going to happen? Wasn't supposed to be weeks back. The answer to that is no. MTL was not supposed to be weeks back. They did say that. Now, what they had said is, my understanding was that full rollout of MTL was going to happen end of June. But what they basically said, and what I think is going to happen, right, is you got to have the KYC first. But the MTL is planned to be rolled out early next week as well. So that first group of KYC users, they're also going to get access to MTL at the same time, right? And the same people who are KYC'd who meet the minimum requirement, they're going to have at least 1,000 gems in the account, right?
Yeah.
Do that. So here's the big news, and I want to see your reaction.
Okay. All right.
I don't think that anyone was expecting this, right?
We're
But
gonna
there's
zoom in
going
on
to
this.
be a number of cash out options. So it's not just fiat.
No way. To
Yeah.
OMI?
Not to OMI, but
Okay.
to USDT, Bitcoin, ETH, and 2 other coins that he didn't mention. He said they're
Whoa.
starting with a list of 5 coins and that they're going to be looking to add more like after that. And like that, people are tripping out. Think about that, man.
Sure.
Like
Yeah. Go ahead. Because I
that's
am thinking about it.
yeah, that's huge. And here's my others. You know, we were in Twitter Spaces. Shout out to Dave if he's watching this. Like he hosts some epic Twitter Spaces and true for the coast. But like, I would think that like so if you're cashing out to fiat, there's that 10% fee. But I think if you're cashing out to crypto, I don't think it's going to be a 10% fee. I think it's going to be cheaper than that, man. So I'm just incredibly bullish. And what does that mean, right? You can technically cash out to Bitcoin, send that over to Bitforex, and then buy OMI with it, like
Right. Yeah. Whatever it is.
or buy your USDT, and you know with the trading pair on Bitforex or, so it was really exciting, and I really think though that kind of caused some people to be like, well, now that I know that like cash out to cryptos there, like, do I need to cash out right now, or is that going to bring people into the space? Like, I don't know, man. I like, and I see bring people into the space because they know like, hey, I can come in like ETH whales. I can come in because they can convert ETH on Coinbase to a debit card and actually purchase gems with that debit card, right?
Okay.
And they can buy collectibles, but then they can cash out to ETH if they wanted to. So, anyways, it was awesome. Like when I heard that, I was like, oh man, that's super exciting. And that was about it. It was a pretty short AMA. I think it was like 26 minutes, something like that. And they really just focused on those Q2 priorities. But let's share my screen because whenever they do those AMAs, right? David Yu, and shout out to Tokes here, Jay Tokes. He posted this and I asked if he'd let me share that with him. But in the background, David's always doing these Easter eggs, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you can see to the left there, that's Ultraman. So I can't think of anything unless there's another Ultraman drop potentially. But the top left there, that is who? Oh, that's Robin. But in the top middle above his head,
Oh
which
yeah.
isn't circled, that's Spider-Man,
Spider-Man. Right.
right? And we know that in August, it's the 60th anniversary of Amazing Fantasy 15 when Spider-Man first appeared, right? So speculation is one of two things. We're either going to get like the 60th edition Spider-Man comic book, or we're going to get Amazing Fantasy. I can't imagine they wouldn't drop Amazing Fantasy.
Yeah. Sure.
There. Then to the right of his head, you got Rick and Morty, which is Cartoon Network. But then for me, probably the most exciting thing is right there is that Wolverine in the
Shink.
background.
Shink.
Oh man, I love Wolverine. I love Wolverine. And so that's that comic book right there. That's Wolverine #1. So we could either get, I think it's Hulk 115 is the first appearance of Wolverine, or we could get Wolverine #1, right? So
You don't think it'll be a collectible like Storm?
Hulk 180, that's what it is. Sorry, I said 115. Sorry, say that again.
I said, and you don't think it'll be a collectible like we saw with Storm?
I mean, I would love it. I don't care. Whatever it is, I'm buying it. You know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's
That's fun. I love.
to cover that, you know. But you were surprised, man. You were pretty.
No, I know. I'm still kind of, yeah, it's going to take me a minute to like wrap my head around that 100%, to be honest. And Rick and Morty also, to be honest. That's something, right? So Rick and Morty, I don't know who owns like I know their Cartoon Network, right? Like, is that who owns the IP or?
That's my understanding. Yeah, is that's Cartoon Network. Yeah, and like I'm not super big on Rick and Morty, but I know that there's a big following that really likes
Sure.
these guys. You know.
I guess I'm just wondering if, like, if the partnership is with Cartoon Network, then, like, what else does that open up exactly? And the truth is that I don't exactly know. Like, when I was a kid, we watched Dexter's Laboratory and, like, Johnny Bravo. Like, I know that those were Cartoon Network originals, but anyway, Jester's just said, next to Snoopy, Wolverine, it is for me. Is it for me? So maybe his favorite, maybe he loves Snoopy, and then Wolverine. I'm not sure.
Snoopy's awesome. There was someone his name's eBoogie on Twitter Spaces. He's in all of these VV chats, and his PFP is Snoopy as Moon Knight. Not Snoopy. Shoot, it's the bird. Um,
Woodstock, yeah,
Woodstock and it's so cool looking,
that's
man.
cool.
Like, but yeah, Snoopy's dope, and but yeah. Anyways, well, we can jump into more of the topics here, but like,
Yeah, well, let me just address a couple.
happened, right?
Let me address a couple of things. So Abe just asked, what do you guys do with your OMI? You keep it on the exchange or pull it off? I
Mhm.
personally keep mine on the web app. Right or wrong, like, that was the easiest way to convert it to, like, the layer 2 when it moved to immutable X, was just to hold it in the OMI wallet, or excuse me, in, like, the omi.me. So that's where I have all of mine currently. And Todd M just said, with the market conditions and what's transpired with Celsius, leave what you can afford to lose on an exchange. So yeah, a little word of caution from Todd. Not exactly, well, yeah. So what do you do with your stock? Where do you hold it?
I hold on Bit4X. So there is always concern, right, that you could have some major company or exchange fall down. Like, I'm not too worried about Bit4X, man. They're an exchange. They're not getting into a lot of leverage trading and things. So I don't know. It was kind of interesting because Reese had said something along the lines of like, oh, like you want decentralization, and it's like, but isn't your app centralized? Like, like, there's pros and cons to both. But for me, I feel safe with my coins on Bit4X. I could transfer them over to my MetaMask wallet, and maybe I'll do that, or maybe I'll split up my OMI so that it's in different places. But like, I'm waiting. I'm going to be sending quite a bit of my OMI onto the web app so that I can stake it when the OMI utility program comes around.
Yeah, and that's why I have mine on, because I know that I'm not going to trade it right now, so I'm just kind of like, I'll just leave it there for being able to stake. And what I'm hoping at some point is that staking your OMI will lead to being able to be whitelisted for land in the VeVe verse. Is I mean, that's a ways away, I'm sure, but and then just real quick, I had to point this out. So Tim HNC75 said, you can't have the rain channel without rain. This should just be called the Minions channel. So yeah, we'll take that in stride. The Minions are in town. That's fine. And Rain, he is traveling, but this might be something, and maybe this is a reason for people to watch or to not watch, but moving forward, it may just kind of be Doc and me on this Wednesday night show, just because Rain is so busy. A lot of people kind of know some stuff that's been going on in his life, and just having a little bit of extra time to spend with his family has been important for him. So it's great for us, because we love just having these chats. So let's get into Jurassic World, because it feels like after, well, anyway, we had the huge Star Wars drops, and then all of a sudden we had Jurassic World, and it wasn't underwhelming per se, but it's been interesting to watch again, as these, what we would have considered like a massive drop 6 months ago, how Jurassic World was just kind of like, okay, so it's a T-Rex, like what do we want exactly, like it. So I wanted to kind of give you a shout out, because and let me find, I was trying to find your tweet about it, but it last week, if you watch the show, a lot of what we talked about was when these collectibles are dropping, like how do you decide on whether or not you're going to go for the drop? And and what you laid out, Doc, was just kind of like, you really have to do your research on something. And so I had my gems like ready to go for the Jurassic World drop. And then as I started to think about it, I was just like, you know what? Like, I am not so sure that this is going to be a collectible that performs well, based on what you had talked about, Doc. And so let me pull up this tweet real quick. And this is a reason why you guys should be following Doctor of Stuff at Doctor of Stuff on Twitter. So you just kind of laid it out. You said, hey, there's 9250 commons. These are your chances: 35%, 31%, 20%, 12.5% chance for the ultra rare. And then let's see. Oh, that's not the one that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I did tweet out some pricing, right? And that's okay, but I do talk about that, and like I try to give some predictions. I actually think I posted in the Rain Telegram, D.
Oh, maybe that was it.
Now
Maybe
that
that
I
was
think
it.
about it, but basically, I said that I thought that the common after drop would be about $20, and common 25, the rare like 45 to 50, which the drop price was 50, and then I said the ultra rare at about $200, and the ultra rare is sitting at about $200. The common, like the rare, is around 47, and then the commons and uncommons, I think both of those are like below 20, like 13 or an 18 or
Yeah, the
yeah.
common's 1350 and the uncommon is even 11 right now. 11, there's one for 11, one for 1190.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's the thing, right? I try to help people think about, like, as I'm studying these collectibles and the drops, I'm trying to look at pricing and mint numbers and the sentiment within the VeVe community through like their Discord, on Telegram, all of that jazz. Ah, Botsy Leaper, man. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank
So
you.
cool.
Big
Appreciate
shout
you, bro.
out, man. Yeah, like, and that's what we're here for, is to try to at least point things out, right? Not financial advice, but like as I'm setting the markets, trying to give like what I think are decent price predictions. I feel like I nailed it pretty well on the Vader as well. Um, I'm not going to hit it every time, but like hopefully at least provides another perspective for people when they're looking like, should I go for these drops or not? I think the comic tomorrow gonna do perform about the same as the comic we had on Tuesday. So if you want to gamble in the VeVe casino to try to hit like a higher rarity for $7, 7 gems, go for it. But if you just want the comic, you'll probably be able to pick it up for like $1.50 after drop. I don't think it's gonna sell out for a while, just like the one on Tuesday didn't sell out. So
Yeah.
not like a big historic comic book by any means. So, but yeah, hey, I appreciate the shout out, D Money, man. Like I do try to provide insight to the Rainmaker fam and also on this the live stream to people.
Yeah, no, for sure. I really, yeah. And so, long story short, is I didn't buy it. I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna follow what Doc says because freaking like, Spider-Man Secret Rare aside, like for those of you who don't know, like I landed the Spider-Man Secret Rare on the drop, which was super lucky in a totally different way. But that was pre-blind box, pre everything. I have not landed a Secret Rare on a blind box ever, not one time. And so I'm like the chances, and I realized that it only went up to ultra rare, but like I'm like the chances, 12.5%, 1 in 8 chance that I'm gonna hit this and be able to like flip it, even if I want to get like a real value. I'm like, man, I can pick up a dinosaur because my kids will think it's cool, right? Like, so I can pick up a T-Rex for like 11, $12 and have it and throw it down like in a football field or something like that, just like have fun with it. That's awesome.
Wait, before you go into it, I don't know if you can look at Tim's comment, and we can talk about that. But real quick, just with the Jurassic Park, we got to do two things. Number one, I have to air my grievances with the Jurassic Park drop and the fact that like they had all this marketing around the Jurassic Park, like Jurassic World double feature and getting this Jurassic Park NFT. And I'm so pumped, and I'll get the promo code tomorrow, right? But like they totally front ran that one with their T-Rex drop. And I was like, I tweeted out and I was like, well, I didn't know that my like Jurassic World movie NFT was gonna be diluted before it even was released. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, but so here's the other thing: we don't know what the NFT is gonna be. We know that there's 3 different rarities that are coming, and here's my thing: I actually think I had a bet with a buddy of mine. Now this is before they front ran these Jurassic Park NFTs with the T Rex, and the T Rex man is awesome. That
Yeah.
roar, especially after just going and seeing those movies, you know, I was like, oh man, that is awesome. But like the AMC thing says that your NFT will be hatching. So if I get a freaking poster, I'm going to say that's false advertising. Because posters do not hatch from eggs. You
Right.
know, posters don't hatch. So it better be a freaking dinosaur, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so bummed. I
Yeah.
won't, whatever, it'll still be great. But my thing was, I was like, okay, people are like, oh, there's gonna be so many, it's gonna be flooded. The market's gonna be flooded with these things. And I'm like, I really doubt that. A couple things. Um, it was only for the double feature, so that was already limited. There's only like in where I lived in a 150-mile radius, there was only 3 theaters showing it. There was only one showing of it in each theater, and it wasn't full in all of the theaters. And on top of that, I talked to people afterwards. I'm like, "Are you guys excited for the NFT?" And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yo, VeVe." I was like trying to get them into it, you know.
What
And they're like, "What?" So
are you
like
talking about?
they only have until July 16th to redeem that promo code. So we're going to know by the July 16th really how rare. First of all, there's 3 rarities, but then on top of that, how many actually use that promo code. I'm thinking that these rarities are going to be pretty low mint, and I think that they will go for well over the $20 that I paid for the movie ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. And I hope that it's like my money's on a Velociraptor. I don't know. We'll see. That'd be dope.
Blue, if
Um,
it was blue, that would be epic, man.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
We'll
So
see.
let's talk about what Tim said. Because I think you read his comment. You should be worried if Bit4X was hacked. I doubt they would cover their losses. You would end up with nothing. Bit4X is shady as scratch. Yeah. No, and he's right, right? Like, I mean, that's always a possibility. And yeah, I don't think that they would cover your losses.
Yep, I agree. Like a lot of these places have started to pick up insurance so that if they are hacked, that insurance will cover some. But we've seen some not cover it. So like that's a good point to at least like is there risk to it? Absolutely. And people should be aware that there is risk to having your tokens on a centralized exchange. There is risk for you having them on your MetaMask. You know, you could click a link and basically give access to your wallet there too. You
Right.
know, so it's kind of your comfort level for sure. I feel comfortable enough with Bit4X, you know, and what that is for now. For now, but like I do think that OMI is going to be on some other major exchanges that are a little bit more stable and not as shady as you
Yeah.
say, Tim. Um, so that's my stance on it.
Yeah. No, good stuff. And it's always good to be cautious for sure. So back to Jurassic World. So I want to show let me just
Oh,
make sure I've got it queued up because this is crazy.
if you haven't seen this, guys, it is awesome.
So this was, and how do I make, can I make this bigger? Come on, Twitter. All right. And I don't know how well this is coming through. Are you seeing this right now, Doc? It's kind of frozen on my screen.
Let's see. It's not really showing it, man. Yep, it's frozen. Oh no, it shows the lightning and then it freezes. Oh,
Freaking
there he
lame.
goes. There he goes.
Did it go? Okay. So hopefully you guys are seeing this. What we're looking at is like the way that they've gotten these collectibles to interact with each other. So is Thor is shooting his lightning or calling down lightning. He jams his hammer down and then it's reflecting like crazy off the T-Rex and it looks amazing. I really don't think that it's probably not doing it justice here. Um, let's see who was it that tweeted that out, Doc?
Well, I saw so crypto khaki commented on whoever tweeted on it. So I don't know who the where it originated from, but
Yeah, I'm seeing it. VeVe Assistant
okay.
is maybe the one who did the original one. I'll see if I can throw out the link. Um, I'll throw it up in the comments as Crypto Rain. But yeah, like it's crazy, and I don't like that's just a ton of attention to detail. And I know that we've given VeVe some flack for, and we kind of like were trolling a little bit with the thumbnail this week because we like threw on we threw on like Electra and Toby and like I can't even remember who.
And the Thor, you know,
Oh,
that
and the Thor that had like no
no
eyes and like
eyes.
you know, like we've been having a little bit of fun and just saying like, you know, like the quality control maybe could go up a notch or two on some of these collectibles, but this is unbelievable. What was your reaction when you saw that?
I was like, is this an ad? I couldn't believe that they had actually done that. And someone's gone through and they've tried to check some of the other collectibles. Like they tried it against like the Todd Batman, right? Like, and it didn't reflect off. So there's certain collectibles, but that makes me think. I'm like, okay, so like, what is Thor or the T Rex? Like why would they show that interaction, right? Like, and how did they do that? And is that going to be like the case going forward with all of these collectibles? Will Thor's lightning start reflecting? Have they built that in? And I mean, I don't know anything along the technical side of how they did that, but like that just goes to show like the progression of the stuff that they're able to do and like what else is next. But like I'm gonna sit back and enjoy that for now and just be like hey, like well done, VB team. Like I know you guys have a ton on your plate, but yes, we troll like the Electra neck, you know, like I mean, like yeah, the no eye Thor and things. Like there's definitely some things that could like even the Jurassic Park T Rex kind of looks like his right leg doesn't really move the right way on the ultra rare, but like you guys are working hard and like some of these things really are phenomenal, guys. Like what other NFT out there can you compare to something like that? So like let's just take a step back and chill a little bit with kind of like our pitchforks sometimes and be like this was phenomenal. So
Right, and that was the thought that I had was just like, you know, the like NFTs or JPEGs boys that are out there and like, you know, I mean, there are a lot of people who like and 100% they do not get it, but like, you know, paying these exorbitant amounts of money for, you know, for a piece of digital art, you like versus these interacting, you know, animated NFTs like there's just no comparison, you know, and so I mean it's just something that makes me feel like, you know, we're back in the right horse, so to speak. So anything else with Jurassic World? I mean, I thought it was interesting that it didn't sell out for like a day. You know, and like I started to say, like 6 months ago, like I think that if Jurassic World would, you know, Jurassic Park would have dropped then, it would have been like, oh, you're joking me, like this is huge, right? And that's kind of the state of where we're at right now, where even something that's like, you know, I mean, like as far as like a collectible, like is this like a tier A collectible? Like, I mean, they did a great job with the design. Like, I don't know if I would put like if tier A is like, you know, golden moments and like you know, some of the Marvel drops, like, I mean, I put it like A minus B plus still, right? Like, am I crazy? Like, I feel like it's a really cool piece, and for it to not sell out for 24 hours was surprising to me.
so it wasn't surprising to me in the fact that the other two, the common like anytime you get a drop where it's just four versions of the same thing, two are stills like in just different poses, and then one like moves its head, which is okay. And then the roar one is epic, right? If they had done like a larger mint of just the ultra rare and charged like $100, like I really think that would have sold out. Like,
Hmm.
you know, but like that's the thing is I was like, what I did, I'm like, you know what, I'll buy one and for the hopes that I get the ultra rare, but like I'm not gonna freaking buy like because I know that everything else is just gonna go under retail. So like I'm not gonna drop all this money just to hope that, because if I buy 4 and I don't get the ultra rare, like I'm not getting my money back if I wanted to even flip the ultra rare, right? And Jurassic Park is big IP. Don't get me wrong here, but we got to. And this is, look. Let's get into the meat of like the title of this live stream today, right? Which is basically like, is VeVe going to survive the crypto crash, right? Like everything
Right.
is down. I mean, it's crazy. I'm in some VC groups, and like there's some people who are kind of losing their minds and freaking out about stuff and tokens and like prices. And I think they've just overextended themselves, and we've seen this impact the OMI token, right? I had a friend who I told, I talked into buying some OMI tokens, and he dropped quite a bit of money and bought it at like 0.0015, and I'm like, this is a phenomenal price, and it's dipped since then, and so then we're looking at the collectibles, and we have kind of this perfect storm of a lot of things happening. The bots were taken away, so a lot of the buy pressure was gone because the bots aren't spending that money. On top of timelines not being met, and so people being frustrated about that. One of those timelines being the MTL, where the cash out, where people are just frustrated, so they kind of pieced out and they're like, I'll be back when MTL is back, and I don't know if I'm going to cash out or if I'm just going to or if I'm going to stay and maybe sell some of my stuff. But and then the crypto crash, like all of these things, there's this sentiment, this pretty low sentiment just in general, right? And we're seeing so many things that they buy at retail go for less than retail, and the liquidity isn't there. And we talked about that like the last week with the whole gray market and liquidity and how that's being impacted. But let's turn and kind of the next 6 months projections of like where I think VeVe is going, and like why it's going to come out. And I'm so excited. And it's so cliche to be like, I'm so bullish on this, but like I am, guys. And there's a lot of reasons to be. Not financial advice. These are my thoughts on like where I see things going for VeVe from here. Number one, you got the 30%. The web app is rolled out completely by the end of this month. That means all future drops, they're getting that 30%, right? That's huge for their war chest of things going forward. Once the web app, the KYC, and the MTL are all in place, the web app can handle, if they wanted to drop some massive IP, it can handle that. And then the queue system, I guarantee you the queue system is basically ready. They just haven't had to use it because the bots were gone. That was why they were pushing to implement it, is to kind of weed out some of the bots. But you'll see the queue system implemented once they drop some of the major IP. And we know David Yu has said with that, shout out to Randy Chavez, real Randy Chavez. If you don't watch his YouTube video, you should watch it, subscribe. Just a phenomenal human being. And he's had some incredible guests recently as well. But David Yu being one of them, right? Where he basically said that they have IP that has anywhere from 5 to 50 million followers, right? Like that they're going to be dropping IP for, on top of the marketing that's going to start happening, the funds to be able to start. We have exchanges. So even during this crypto bear market, they're going to be going full steam ahead with these drops. And for me, whether or not the price like dips, like they're going to get so much more exposure. We're already seeing that with Jurassic World. Now we're seeing it with Buzz Lightyear that's coming, right? We're going to see more and more collaborations coming where VeVe is going to be on the lips of more and more people, first comers that are just like, whoa, what is this? So absolutely VeVe is going to survive the crypto crash. And like right now I'm seeing these prices, and I think that we are pretty dang close to a bottom unless something other drastic comes out. So I'm kind of looking at prices and being like, with these bots flooring things, that I'm like, all right, like I think that now is a pretty good time to be, and that's what I'm doing is I'm picking up a lot of the collectibles right now off the floor.
Yeah, so you just glazed over something that, like, I don't know if everybody heard this or not, but like there's another promo code coming with the new Pixar film Lightyear, right? That's kind of the, alternate, like the real life Buzz Lightyear. I don't even know. It's hard. We're getting into like Inception levels of like, all right, but Buzz Lightyear's a toy. but now like this is him like as a real person, like a real, is this like the
I
show
think
or is this
I think
anyway?
it's the show that the toy is based off of. So
Okay.
it's Buzz Lightyear's cartoon characters origin story.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they
Yeah. Yeah.
created like the buzzer. That's my understanding of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I saw the trailer the other day. It looks cool, right? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, but yeah, there's a promo code that, same thing, right? So, Buzz Lightyear was kind of conspicuously missing from that Pixar drop, of like really of all, if you had a little brother or sister, maybe this was you when Toy Story dropped. I can't even think what year that was. Was it like 1990? I don't know, like late 90s, 90. I don't know. Man, this is going to bug me. Maybe it was 95, 96. But anyway, if you had a little sibling, if you had a niece, if you had a, grandkid, whoever, like Buzz Lightyear was like the coolest, right? Like Woody has become dear to like our hearts as adults, but like Buzz Lightyear was the toy, right, that people
Mhm,
were buying more than
mhm.
anything. So that's going to be a huge thing, and you just kind of glazed over that, which is how this week has really been.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about something that you and I were discussing this earlier in the week, I think. And you just mentioned that you thought that the bottom was not necessarily in, but it's getting close. And you said with regards to MTL, that you kind of felt like the market will continue to drop if MTL happens before the end of the month, or if it doesn't. And the reasons kind of being is that like if it hits, then there are going to be people who are selling their collectibles, trying to get up to the 1,000 gems to cash out some of their fiat or whatever. But if it doesn't, then there's going to be FUD, and people will will potentially continue to dump their collectibles. So do you still feel that way, as in the next couple of weeks, that still could be the case?
Well, it's already like the cool, crazy thing is it's already happened. Like today, it's happened, right? Like not only like the bots are flooring stuff, we know that because they got to get out. So like we've seen prices drop, and before we started the live stream, I was on the app, and I'm like, look, man, like all of these prices are pretty insane. Like as they're like just dropping as people are flooring, and that's causing other people to be like, like is this going to continue to go down? So maybe I should just list it now so that I can get up to my 1,000 gems if I want to cash out. And some of them are like, I want to cash out into crypto to take advantage of some of the crypto prices that are out there, right? ETH is super low. So people are like, geez, I can cash out to ETH.
Right.
Do I think ETH is going to like outperform with the merge? Is that going to create a boost? So definitely, we're seeing that. We're seeing the floors drop. And that's, look, I said that I sold my Vaders. Like at like starting at 1.8K. And I was like, I know for a fact I'm going to be able to buy in lower than this. I didn't know how high it was going to go. I definitely didn't sell at the top, but like I definitely need some good profit from what I bought at. And like I'm getting my Vaders back, right? Like I think they're at 1.5K, and I think that they'll still go down. But props to Vaders right now. They're still holding pretty steadily. One of the reasons is most bots didn't necessarily get those, right? Most of them are people, and you're going to start seeing that like going forward now, that people who are getting the drops, especially of these larger IPs, they don't want to necessarily sell it, or if they do, like kind of have a higher threshold of where they're going to feel they want to sell it. So that's why I say like it's probably going to get close to the bottom. I don't know how long like people are going to be trying to undercut each other with the floors. Maybe once they start hearing people like the cash out, that they're like, oh my gosh, I know someone who just did the cash out. That might cause them like, okay, like it's really, really, really happening. And then cause a little bit more of a sell off. But yeah, like I thought that prices were going to drop, and that's what we've seen so far.
Yeah. Um, so with the overall market, I want to touch briefly. I mean, this feels like old news. This is how fast the crypto market moves, but like Celsius, right? Like, um, So Celsius just did it pulled a Luna. Um, maybe not as bad, right?
Yeah.
But like, I mean, all of a sudden it was, they basically, said that they were pausing all transactions, all withdrawals, due to liquidity issues, and it caused a huge dip in the price. You were talking about how what happened though, where there was some speculation on was this kind of a rug pull.
Sorry. Do I think it was a rug pull or?
Yeah. I guess where I'm going with this is because I want people to understand that like the OMI team is like 100% doxed. Like everybody knows these guys, right? They're high profile. I mean, within the collectible space in the world, which is like, I mean, that's not like a huge space, right? But these are guys who have a lot to lose, right? So tell me the story. What happened with Celsius exactly? What was the speculation? Because there was
I'm so I didn't like I'll be forthright with that. Like I didn't read the whole story. Like I know that there was some liquidity issues, and people were thinking it was a rug pull. Definitely not on the same stage as Luna, where like Do Kwon pulled out like a lot of money like just a
right.
couple months before. Yeah, like there's some pretty serious implications, like where raised eyebrows where it's like, man, this guy definitely seems very guilty upon first glance, right? Do Kwon. I don't feel like that's the case with Celsius, but let's get into. So here's something funny. I'm in this OMI whale group, and I'm talking about like there's some OMI whales, and we talked about we're like, could VeVe be a rug pull? And it's just like, no, like there's there's no way. And in fact, one of them joked, I laughed so hard. They're like, if VeVe rug pulls, I don't think that I'll be able to trust anything ever again. In fact, I'll probably ask my parents for a DNA test. I was dying. And you bring up this solid point, right? Here's the deal. The team is doxed, right? So if they rug pulled, if they were like, we're just gonna dump our OMI and we're out, like lawsuits galore. But on
Right.
top of that, like they have major IP. This is the difference. This is why it's so important. Is there's no reason for them to rug pull with
Right.
Disney, with DC, with Marvel, with several other AAA like IPs that they haven't released yet. Like they're not going to rug pull. Now Tim brings up a good point. You want to show his comment about
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
look, OMI has no utility for sure. And that's a solid point. That is why it is not really mimicked the pumps and dumps in the market like over the last year because it's not tied to the utility, but it's coming. It is absolutely coming. And Reese has alluded to it. My projections are that sometime in third quarter, we're going to get the OMI utility program laid out. And then as they do that, it's probably going to be in tandem with like another exchange listing, right? And they're doing this very planned so that they don't want these pumps and then dumps. It's like they're going to implement the utility first, then they're going to bring in exchange, an easier exchange to get your OMI tokens on, and maybe one, maybe two at that time, because then people are going to want that to then use that OMI to stake to do these other things. So you're right that like OMI and VeVe like are going to be fine. There's but once that utility comes and they're already implementing different ways and have been thinking of different ways to basically burn from circulating supply, that's massive. And so again, to the topic in the title thumbnail of this live stream, is VeVe going to survive the crypto crash? Like not only VeVe, but OMI as well. And what we saw in December and January, the reason for those price increases was the amount of liquidity and demand. And like I think that is nothing compared to what's coming. Nothing compared to what's coming.
Yeah, we're still in like the earliest stage here, right? I mean, again, I kind of I kind of joked about this, but like it feels like the news about Celsius was like a month ago, and it was like what, like maybe 5 days ago. Like, I mean, that's how quick things move, and like just that VeVe has been around. I mean, frankly, it's been just a little bit over a year, right? Like it's still so early. So we're kind of getting up against it a little bit. I wanted to see if anybody out there has any. We've addressed a couple questions, but yeah, any other questions that people have, please feel free to drop them in the chat. And I want to shout out our buddy Abe. He says, "Oh my gato, Stian El Doctor, you guys are fired." Just tickled that like button. Yeah, as I often say, do whatever you want to the like button. You don't have to smash it. Like, if you're going through like a anger management thing, you don't want to smash things. I get it. Just tickle it like Abe did, but do something to the like button. We appreciate that. That helps with this stuff. So yeah, drop your questions and please hit the like button. I'm trying to think what else. We talked a lot about the MTL. What do you think about like just looking at the collectibles versus the overall crypto market? I mean, I haven't really looked at it as a percentage, but like, are the collectibles down as much as the overall crypto market?
It depends on what collectibles.
Right, sure.
You know what I mean? I mean, Spider-Man, I think, is dropped all the way down to like 16 or 17K, and it was as high as 100K, right? So if you look at it that way, that's like an 80%, 83% decline. Like, that's pretty massive, and like, I mean, I know that my freaking Batman battle statues that I paid over 2K for are like $100. So, in general, yeah, like, it's just going to depend, you know what I mean, on that. And so look, that's a perfect lesson. I sold off one of my battle statues before it got to that price point, but I kept one on purpose to be like, don't freaking FOMO, and that's what I did. And like, anytime that my emotions are kind of like, I'm getting pumped and pumped and pumped, I'll look at that battle statue and I'll say, why am I so pumped about this? Is it because everyone else is, or like, what's the support behind why this should be so important, right? Because like, I'm trying to remember, there's some psychological effect of basically like the newest thing, and people want the newest thing, and then they forget about the thing that was just the newest thing 2 seconds ago, and it loses value. And it's like, all right, but if someone is coming in here and the newest thing, they're just finding things out and everything is new, what's the biggest things that they're going to be like looking at, right? And it's that massive IP, the golden moments from Disney, the first on the blockchain, like the Darth Vaders, those type of things that I think people are going to be looking at. And so I'm starting to like ask those questions. But before we end, to like, let's see. Oh, do you want to like highlight Jester Ruin's question?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, Jester's Rune, our buddy, asks, has there been any other discussions or arguments on the Palm versus VeVe first DC?
So this is awesome. Great question, Jester. I tweeted out because there was an article as they were doing the bat cows, right? That was basically like, this is DC's first Batman NFT. And I was like, correction. And it kind of started this firestorm, and to Palm NFT's credit, they went out on the Bat Cows Discord and on Palm NFT and said the Todd McFarlane Batman, like minted through VeVe, is hands down the first, like no argument, the first Batman NFT on the blockchain. But on top of that, and this is why I think that Todd is such a big deal, there's two things. If VeVe becomes a worldwide and like a household name, I actually think that like the firsts on VeVe will matter more. Like there's that potential, right? That like, even though something was minted on the blockchain, that first, like HRO has like the flash, right? And they have that 2D collectible. If VeVe becomes a household name, it could be like, yeah, like that's first on the blockchain, but this is first on VeVe. And VeVe is the household name. So that's something to think about as well, right? But for the Todd McFarlane specifically, and why I think that hands down, like this thing, you even look at the floor and like it's staying at like 2.1K. And I really don't think you might get one off that like tries to dip below that, but like there's a pretty strong floor because it's also the very first licensed superhero anywhere on the blockchain that I'm aware of. Like, and shout out to Crypto Kings. If you don't know who that is, type in Crypto Kings on Twitter. He is creating a website that will list all firsts on the blockchain of these different characters and who has it. And he's calling these companies and having discussions with them. Because something that was interesting is HRO, even though they did some of these drops in like March, they actually minted some of them in December, right? And so now it's like, okay, well, when did they mint it on December? What is that? So, but they're going to have a historic record on those things that people can go back and look and be like, oh, like this is what was minted on the blockchain and have that record. So,
yeah, really good question, Jesters. Yeah, man, we always go over. I'm feeling. Yeah, I'm just curious. Like, is there anything else that you wanted to cover tonight? I'm feeling like this has been a good discussion.
Yeah, I'll say one other thing real quick because it was a topic that we were going to cover, but I'll just cover it briefly. Is utility of the NFTs, right?
Yeah.
So here's my prediction. I could be totally off on this, but so first and foremost, I'm a huge fan of the bat cows. I am so excited for all of the utility that they're going to be offering. And I think that as this starts to roll out, FYI, the 52 days is coming up. So May 2nd, which is 5/2, and 52 is a big number in the DC universe. That was the end of the mint. That was the last day that you can mint the bat cows, right? And then every 52 days, you're going to get utility. So basically, we're coming up on that in like June. I want to say like June 23rd. June 23rd or 22nd, around there is going to be the first bat cow utility. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these other IPs, including VeVe, react to that, because I think that the bat cows, people are going to start to notice that. Like they're going to start seeing this real world utility, because this is what we do know. You're going to get exclusive merch, which is cool. And Bored Ape Yacht Club has that. Like a lot of NFT projects have that. But like if you're a bat cow holder, you're going to be they're doing a virtual tour of basically like the Batman museum, like where you're going to be able to see like all of the Batman suits, and like a lot of the stuff that were in the movies, and get a tour of that, which is going to be epic. You're going to be able to vote, and this is incredible. And what sold me on at least buying one before I bought a lot more, but was you're going to participate in the direction of a story of a DC comic, like that will be canon, right? You're going to be voting on certain characters, like and what happens to characters who are in there and things. And I think that that's actually what's going to be that first 52-day utility, is that they're going to throw out the votes. And for each bat cow you have, you're going to have a vote. And how phenomenal is that? You're going to be able to own that comic book, like that people will have for forever, and be like, I helped guide that, and there's going to be so much more where I think that VeVe, like with some of their IP, like Marvel, we know that Marvel is a competitor of DC Comics, right? Like, and even Disney, that utility is coming. It has to come. It's the next step in NFTs. And like some of these collectibles, I think that the utility itself will just be the AR version of it. But I knowing Disney and how they are always focused on creating experiences for people, I just don't see how they don't, at least with some of their biggest type. Maybe it'll be one of ones, like I don't know, but I do think that VeVe is going to be coming out with some NFTs to keep up with competition, that they will shift, and there will be like their NFTs. Some of their NFTs will have utility.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think that really is the next wave. Like you said, you laid it out really well. Let's address Abe's question real quick, because I know that you're somewhat of a bat cow expert. So Abe asked, how do you know what rank your bat cow is, and like what do rarity and traits mean exactly?
So there isn't a ranking right now that they have out there, but basically one of the things that you can do to tell like how rare your bat cow is, number one, if you have any attachments, like there's like headlight, there's the earpiece, and then there's the breather. If you have any one of those, that's a very, very rare trait, right? We know that there was about 11,500 or so minted, and I think that in total, like all of those equipments, there's only like maybe 30 to 40 that of all of them together combined that even have some sort of attachment. But on top of that, if you look at like the rarity traits, like the lighting, the background, or some of the materials, if you have two materials or two traits that are like 1% or less, that's a pretty rare bat cowl, is what I've come to understand so far. But that's something that I think that we should push for is getting that rarity tool out there so that we kind of know like how ours ranks. That's going to help with the marketplace, right? And we'll also see, it'll be interesting to see how that plays into kind of when the overdrive is active and placing other things in there with the bat cowl, if those traits interact in a different way because they're so rare.
Nice. Good stuff, man. Well, yeah, we're at it. We're just at an hour, so I'm gonna cut you loose, man. Thanks again, as always, for coming on the show. It's great to have you.
Yeah, D Money, thank you so much, and everyone who listens to these, who comes on, thank you so much for spending time with us, for your questions. Like, I love being a part of that. And if you guys ever have any questions, please follow me on Twitter at Doctor of Stuff. Hit me up with any questions that you have. You'll see me in VeVe Twitter Spaces or Backhouse Spaces often, and come say hi, And if any of you guys are coming to NFT NYC, please send me a DM. I would love to meet up with people in real life and just get to know people and establish those relationships.
Right on. Thanks again, Doc. Hey, for those of you in the audience, if you're not a Rainmaker already, then what are you waiting for? You can join the Rainmaker family by simply liking this video, subscribing to the channel, hit that all notifications bell. We do a live stream generally every Friday. Rain is out of town. I'm not sure if we're going to hit that this Friday, but we drop videos throughout the week discussing the crypto market as a whole. So yeah, I will send us off in typical Rain fashion and just let everybody know, hey, no rain, no gain. We'll see you guys.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, shit right before you could. Was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. And why when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I stick the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't leave with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Why when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, go parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Make the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge the game show. Sticking out this road cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. Strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Make the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.